Hey, cutie pies, I'm Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the bold and the beautiful edition. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Today is Wednesday, August the 17th, 2022, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to get, you know what, I'm going to give Deacon a 7. It was like a 7, y'all. All right, let's get into it. So we see Taylor and Steffi, and they are still having the same conversation about Ridge and Thomas, and they're saying Thomas is supposed to go over to speak to Hope, and they say, good, he's made a lot of stride, he's come a long way, and we want to see Douglas be where he rightfully belongs, and that is living with Thomas and, you know, being a Forester. And so then we see, I'm not gonna hold y'all long on this because it wasn't much. Then we see they talk about Ridge, and Taylor was once again dreaming about Ridge, and their kiss, and she tells Steffi that it was an epic kiss and that she's not going to stand back anymore. She's going to go for what she wants. And Taylor says, Dad belongs with you. Anybody can see that. I said, y'all, let's move on. I can't do that another day in a row. I'm sorry. So then we see then we see Thomas and Hope. So Hope is working. Thomas comes over and she says, I'm kind of busy. And he says, yeah, but this won't only take a minute. And she's like, okay, what's going on? And he was like, I wanted to talk about Douglas. And she says, do we have to have this conversation right now? And he was like, well, I mean, I just really want to say that, I thank you for everything you've done, but it's time for Douglas to come and live with me. I already asked Granddad, and tomorrow night I want him to start living with me. That's not how visitation and custody works. It's just not. And so he was like, we have joint custody. And I was like, okay, yeah, but that's not how custody works. But okay, let's keep moving. And so he said, she was like, so that's it. No thought, because she's like, we belong, like we are together. Douglas, Liam, like that. Liam looks at him as his own father. He said, that's the problem. Liam's not his dad. Like, he's a great guy, but I'm his dad. Or whatever. And I don't know. I still think that Douglas wants to live with Thomas, so he should go live with Thomas. But like I said from the very beginning, this will only work if they transition this where everyone feels like they're getting what they want. I don't think barging into Hope's home and saying Douglas is coming to stay with me tomorrow. That's not the way to go. I'm sorry. That's not the way to do it. You have to transition that, like, get her used to the idea. You don't get to just say, hey, I want to change the custody and then I want him to come stay with me and that's it. Because y'all do have an agreement, and he's like, please don't fight me on this. And I'm sorry. I just think if you had done this differently, it's just been like, so I was wondering next week, could he start spending a few more days, like one extra day with me? And then just transitioning. That's all I'm saying. Like, they're going to make this a huge custody battle when there's no need for it. But I'm tired of talking about it. Let's move on. I'm already sick of that storyline, and it just started. Okay, so then we see Ridge and Brooke. So Ridge and Brooke are talking, right? And he has confessed to kissing Taylor, and she was like, oh, y'all kiss? She said, nah, I didn't know that it went on. I said, are you sure? Because you didn't want him to tell. But anyways, she said she didn't know they had kiss. And I said, okay, well then, now that you know, what? And she tells him, what kind of kiss was it? He was like, what do you mean? And she was like, well, I mean, you said you kissed her. What kind of kiss was it? And he was like, it was just a caught up in the moment kiss. And like, she said, do you have feelings for her? He was like, she's the mother of my child, but I love you. I said, no, wait a minute now, because I am confused. I could have swore that Ridge had deeper feelings for Taylor than what he is telling Brooke. And because he's been thinking about Taylor and everything. But I'm just like, he hasn't been wanting to talk to Taylor. If this is how you feel and you want to be back with Brooke, then tell Brooke, I'm not confused any longer. I want to be with you, because that's what's confusing me. If you have no feelings for Taylor, you love Brooke, you felt bad about kissing Taylor because of how you feel about Brooke, then what's the problem here? Like, why are we dragging this out? Just be with Brooke and tell Taylor what it is and everything. And honestly have a relationship with your children and stop having a relationship with Taylor as much as you do. I mean, y'all could be friends or whatever, but the fact that, like, she can't just drop by the office just to visit you. You can't go over and, have these conversations because you know how she feels about you. That's my only thing about this. But Brooke ends up forgiving him. I said, y'all let Ridge get away with whatever he wants to. But Brooke said, hey, I got to forgive you because you forgiven me for my many kisses. I said, let's move on. So then they start talking about Thomas, and she tells him, Ridge, Douglas needs to stay with my daughter. That is she adopted Douglas. And he says, Ridge tells her, Douglas is still Hope is still Douglas' mom. That's not going to change, but he needs to be with Thomas. He needs to be with my son. He needs to learn our way, our life and lineage and all that. And she said, oh, no. He said, and I need you to support me with it. She said, heck no. She said, Thomas, Brooke said, listen, Thomas ain't going to change. He might have some good moments or whatever, but he's not going to change. And I wonder, is this going to make that whole story come up that Thomas knew about what Sheila had done and Ridge and Taylor buried that? I wonder, is that going to make this come up again? Because at this point, I don't know if that would even matter when it comes to the custody, but I feel like they would Brooke and Hope would make a big deal about that. Like, he said he's changed, but he was still doing this, and that was recently or whatever. Because, I was still blaming Thomas for everything. I blame Sheila, but like, if Thomas had said something, they would have known how out there Sheila was or whatever. But I don't know. Really, to be quite honest with you, they're reaching. I guess these are the main focal points of The Bold and the Beautiful. So they're always going to have them with storylines. But I would like to see other people with, storylines as well. Because, I talked about Quinn and Carter and all them, but that was a good storyline when it was going on in the whole Donna thing, even though I couldn't stand that Honey Bear stuff. That was still a different storyline, different people. And I would like to see that, But anyways, Brooke says, no, I'm not supporting you. He is where he needs to be with my daughter. Thomas can just continue to have visitation. And then we go to Deacon. And Deacon is throwing it back at the bar, and his bartender friend is like, dude, don't you got a probation meeting tomorrow? He was like, you know what, you right. And he said, so slow down. And Deacon was like, I am being good. I'm good for 99% of the time, but I got to let loose there 1% because I can't be like this all the time. And so he said, yeah, but you remember you got probation. You don't want to mess that up. So then this beautiful redhead comes in, right? And she's staring Deacon down. And he like, dude, is she looking at me? And it's like, yeah, I'm getting the vibe. And so he makes a connection with the redhead, not talking or anything, just looks. And I said, this redhead sure does look familiar. Is that Sheila? I said, no, that's not Sheila. I said, wait a minute, her bone structure, that looks like Sheila. But she got on a wig and glasses, and they contoured her face with the makeup. I can't tell. Because sometimes, y'all, when they be doing all that contouring and stuff, I can't tell who it is. So anyways, Deacon goes home, right? And he looking at stuff because he's like, I want to remodel. He said, nope, can't afford any of this. He gets a knock at the door, and it's the redhead. And he says, what are you doing here? We're like, what do you come here for? Whatever. And she moves her shirt, and they start going at it. And I said, Dick, Deacon, there is monkeypox out here. What are you doing? This is not safe. This is not safe. You don't know this woman. But they say it's Sheila because when they were being intimate, I looked at her face and I said, that's Sheila. This man messed around and got with Sheila. But the spoilers are that she supposed to jeopardize his probation or something about to happen with his probation, because I don't know. I said Sheila Carter rides again. But I got to know if she lost that toe for real. Did she cut her toe off? But anyways, y'all, That was the bold and the beautiful today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for another episode. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.